So Kino here with you. That is the second episode for Order of the Sinisters talk show. Today I am hosting THEaquemeni, or we call him Aqua. He's the owner of the THEaquemeni gaming channel on YouTube. If you like the builds that have mathematical calculations and numbers out of it to prove it, if you are the one of the guys who understand the build, not feel the build, this is the guy for you. And he's also a former winner of the Build of the Week contest on Ubisoft forum. If you don't know what is the Build of the Week, THEaquemeni will tell you what is the Build of the Week contest on Ubisoft forum. Basically, you just share a build, and if they liked it, the developers, you're gonna win the prize. He won it before. So here is THEaquemeni, and today we're gonna talk about the future of this game, the community of this game, and we're gonna talk about Pineapple Express, the build that won the Build of the Week contest on Ubisoft forums. THEaquemeni, how are you doing, man?
Oh man, wonderful, man. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so there's a few different builds that have been cooking up a bunch of different. It's it's getting some hype behind it. You know, we have the Predtronics, which formal build of the week. We had the Pineapple Express, getting some notoriety off of the effective toughness series, that we threw together. But yeah, man, we've been working hard. Working real hard.
Yeah, I can see that. So, tell me first about your builds, like
Well,
what are they based on?
My builds are based on my playstyle. I have close to 150 days played in the game, so I kind of use builds now as I guess the basic equation is playstyle plus gear equals your build. And I've noticed that my playstyle is really in your face. I like to have fun.
Yeah, aggressive.
Yep, and I usually have gear that supports that.
Okay, so tell me, how long does it take you to make a build, so people know, like how much effort do you need to make a build, like the calculations? Because I was with you like 2 days ago. You were testing your Hunter's Face build. And some stuff sounded complicated, man. So tell me, what do you do in your laboratory?
Well, I pretty much I started off playing the game as a skill power build.
Okay.
And I've kept it that way for a long time. More recently, I've started switching over to firearms. But I found the balance in between the two is a really great place. So pretty much having no stamina and stacking everything into firearms and electronics is pretty much how you'll see a lot of my builds made, simply because that aligns with my playstyle, and I enjoy it. I enjoy getting a heal, I enjoy dealing some damage, I enjoy supporting my team.
So your builds are for beginners or advanced gamers, like, or is it for both? Like, is it for the ones who just started the game? Or it's a little bit of a more advanced build that, like, you need an advanced player to understand what you want to deliver?
I feel that since I go to both ends of the extreme, I would say that the build's probably more for an advanced player. I think balanced builds are probably better for a person that is just starting the game. And is really trying to identify whether they want to be more electronics based or whether they want to be more damaged with the gun, or if they need to be a little more tanky. So I feel like as you play the game, you start to identify those things, but being balanced is a good place to start. But since I'm on the opposite of that, I feel like this is it could be considered for more advanced players, but it also is fun. It's a fun way to play. So I would suggest anybody try it, really.
Yeah, I tried it myself, man. It was very, very effective. But so one more thing here. Do you think that your builds is a meta right now? Because I have seen a lot of builds similar to your builds, like the Hexo build and the Hybrid build, the ones who use electronics and firearms and no toughness at all, and they depend on booster shot for the toughness and the skill haste. Do you think that's the current meta alone? Like, do you think it's on a league of its own? Like the old school DPS builds are no longer competing with this build, or no?
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, I do feel like this has been a meta. This is something that, I've been farming since 1.5 for these gear sets, and really trying to show that, stamina isn't really that impactful, that heals will always rule the game, and health per second. So it's
Yeah, because you
definitely
have the
something that I
stamina,
agree with the
it gives you
community
15
with,
health points instead of 30. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'm the type of player that saved a pair of 204 knee pads because they had 2 major attributes instead of the one that they were going to switch to. So now my knee pads have 3 major attributes because of all the switching that takes place in normalization. So
Ah,
it's just
man,
like I'm that type
you
of
save your
player
stuff,
that,
man.
yeah, well, I mean, I save things. It's kind of, to me, I felt like they were lottery tickets, and each one was going to be beneficial. And luckily enough, I have a striker pair that's really good, and a final measure pair, which is starting to pick up some momentum.
Okay, moving on to another topic. What do you think about the current, the current status of the game? Like, do you think it's going like it's dying, like what everybody says?
No. I feel like the game is in a great place, and it has been an upward hill. It's been like an uphill battle, right? So, but every time that we've gotten the new patch, it's always been a great time, and then we find something that is a tad bit broken, and it seems like the community, besides Seeker Mine and Deadeye, those seem to be the topics of conversation among classes that deal severe damage. But I feel like it's really at a balanced point. Some people will say 1.4, some people will say 1.3, but I honestly feel like what we have right now is the best version, and I'm super excited to see where it goes moving forward, because every time they cease to amaze me. So that's where I'm at.
But the numbers, most of the people don't agree with you, because the numbers on Steam and other websites indicate that the player base is going downhill very quickly. People are leaving and not coming back. People are leaving and not coming back. But there are some still hardcore players like myself and yourself, and a lot of players who still play the game from day one till now. But most of the people actually quitted. Like, if you open your friend list, you find a lot of names that they used to be online 24/7. They are no longer here. So, which fault, like, in your opinion, who do you think is at fault here? The developers or the players? And why?
All right, well, there's 2 parts to this question, and one part seems to be that it's dropping, the numbers are dropping, right? And it seems the other part of the question is who's at fault. And so, to answer the first part of that question, the numbers, right? The numbers show how many people are online. So if we verse how many people are online versus not online, I mean, we could see that maybe there is a decrease, but there has been a lot of games that have come out in this first quarter, and it was like an incredible time for the gaming community. So I feel like every time a new patch comes out, the numbers spike again. With the PTS, I'd like to be a little bit more informed as to what those numbers are looking like and how many people are engaged in that. But I'm really hyped for 1.7 and what that has to bring, and 1.6.1 and what that has to bring. Because anytime there's a PTS, we get some great improvements to the game, and that's just like a fact.
Of course, yeah. And to be honest, man,
now when it comes from a developer, for the second part of your question, whose fault is this? I'm really not sure there's anybody to blame. This is a game in a category of its own. I used to play Destiny dreaming of a day where I can control my character in the third person, so it was just like, this was a godsend. And I'm expecting that there be some learning curves. And I'm glad to see the dedication that all the teams at, and all the teams a part of Ubisoft, took in, really making sure that they got us a balanced game, and
man, and they have a very good link with their players, man. Like, there's no other community or developing company that have that link with their players, man. Who does a PTS and who does an elite ETF and who keeps doing state of the game every week just to know and to deliver what the players need? I think people are overreacting and a little bit harsh on developers on these games. They are trying absolutely all that they can do, but nobody's appreciating that and everybody's whining and complaining. Don't you agree?
No, I feel like from that standpoint, people are passionate. They're always going to be passionate. And some people express their passion in different ways. You know, this is the time of non-loyalty.
Yeah, they are whining. You mean they are whining and because out of passion, because they love the game so much and they want it to be better, so that's why they complain a lot.
I just think about the world as it is. It's like, you know, you used to go to the same restaurant every day, and then now it's you can't go to the same restaurant every day. You know, so it's just that level of loyalty. People can kind of spend $60 and, you know, play something that might be more entertaining at the time. So I understand, you know, the community and where they're coming from, but I kind of draw the question as to, you know, if you want to make something better, or you truly care about something and want to improve it, you know, the first thing you got to do is lend your ideas. And the Division community, and definitely the community managers and community developers, like, they listen, they give a shit.
Yes, true.
If you care enough to say and speak up, they're going to listen. So, you know, don't hesitate. Like, please reach out, please speak up. Your idea could be the idea that brings, you know, 20 years from now still logging in just to have some fun.
Yeah, guys, if you like, you can easily go to Ubisoft forums, the Division. There is a section called the Division General Discussions, and there's another section called Suggestions. You just post any idea, they read it. If they liked it, and if the community likes it, they will implement it. It's your game. That's what Ubisoft is trying to deliver to you. It's your game. Yeah, so don't hesitate. Don't go like, man, this game is broken. No, it is not broken. First of all, as Aqua said, this game is quite complicated and in a category of its own. And it's the first RNG game that has gunfights. Most of the RNG games have swords and stuff like that. So this game is new. It's a new genre. Okay, so, and they are human beings. They can be at fault at any time. Like, they are human beings just like you and me. Some stuff can go wrong. You can go to forums and you can correct that stuff with yourself and people who listen to you. That's what me and Aqua are trying to say here.
Yeah, and they're even good enough to shout you out for the bug fix, which I thought was awesome. So shout out to anybody that started adding the names of the people that submitted the bugs over at the Division game. Shout out to you, because that was really cool to see names that I recognized in the patch notes. That was sick.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, they shouted out for the people who reported bugs. See, that's a basic proof that they read what you shout out. Like, they read.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Moving on, what do you think about 1.6.1? Do you agree with all the buffs and the nerfs happening, or no?
Yeah, I mean, like, the buffs, definitely, like making sure that talents are working as intended and gear sets are being reflected as, like, you know, if something says it bleeds, it should bleed, right? Like, that's definitely awesome. Nimble, the change that they made is cool, right? It was,
I disagree with you on this one.
Well, okay. Well, they made the change where they said, all right, you move from cover to cover, you get your health when you get in the cover, right? Then PTS changed it, so you have to stay in that cover for 4 seconds.
Yes.
Right?
Inconvenient for PvP.
Now, what they did for PTS Week 2
Yeah.
is they said, well, if you move cover to cover, right, you can leave the cover, but you're going to get your health over the 4 seconds of time.
Well, that's a good addition.
Yeah.
That's an enhancement.
So they met right in the middle, right? So that was a really smart move, and it didn't slow down the game, because before you would have to just sit there and wait for 4 seconds and then pop out, as opposed to, okay, I could kind of work with this, you know. So
but it will not be efficient in some situations. When someone is following you, hip firing at you, you're gonna die eventually. 4 seconds is too much, especially you will be at low health. That's why I used Nimble in the first point.
Yeah, but if you nimble to a place where you could probably get more cover and then maybe get another cover to cover and then kind of work your way into... So it provides a more fluid type of game style. So nimble used to be so strong that, you know, tacticians could run around with 2 skill builds or 2 damage skills, such as, like, you know, this sticky bomb and a seeker, just for instance, or a turret, whatever of those, and not have to worry about heals because they could just nimble. Right, non-stop nimble. So I think that, you know, kind of bringing, now that they've brought all the damage in the game down, right, that amount of healing is just a little bit overpowered. But I do understand both sides of it. But I feel like once you try it, and you see what it feels like, you'll be able to work with that. And you'll know that everybody else has that same, everybody that's nimbling has that same problem. You know, it's going to require more cover-based, more, you know, not necessarily taking cover, but using items that could be cover in order to save yourself a couple of more seconds.
Moving on, what do you think about nerfing Seeker Mines?
Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing in the game that really is just devastating. And the devastating part is that it's hard to kind of get to the person throwing them. If you protect that person really well, it's kind of hard to get to them. You can always disrupt and stuff like that, but if they have a force, you know, it's going to be kind of hard to get there.
If you are organized, if you have an organized squad team play, which is actually what this game is all about, so don't you think you deserve credit for that? Like, you deserve to be one-shotted by a Seeker Mine just because they are playing as a team and they know what they're doing, or no?
Well, I mean, I usually run complete glass, so those things always hurt. But I've learned that if you pop a med kit or heal in between the explosion phases, you'll be good.
Yes, true.
But now that they're moving some of the damage into the burn damage, I feel like that's going to be really cool. It's going to like really help. I haven't been able to test it because I don't have the gear on the BTS. But I feel like it could be. People are saying that it's still strong. So I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see it now if EDR will have an effect, if burn resistance will have an effect.
If all resistance as well.
Yeah.
But one point here. First of all, I don't like Seeker Mines, and I don't play with Seeker Mines. And but there are some people actually, to be honest. This game, when it comes to aiming, you know, different weapon types have different recoil patterns, if you know. And some people, because of that recoil patterns on weapons, they cannot aim properly. Yeah, so they basically go to skill builds. Yeah, I'm not saying they are bad. No, if I use a Seeker Mine, I will die. I cannot handle being so squishy. He's better than me in his part, and I'm better than him in my part. So some people are not made to do damage, like some people playing this game, and it's actually a big portion of players. Like, of course, if you open your friend list, you're gonna find 2 or 3, 4 people Seeker Mine users. That's for sure. Like, it's a popular trend right here. Don't you think if they nerfed the skill damage based builds, these players will feel useless and they will quit the game, and the player base will even shrink more?
Well, I mean, you could probably compare that to the tactician or the tanktician.
Yes, sticky bomb, yeah.
Which was, you know, which created the sentry shotgunner because we had to find a way to kill him. So like, you know, the Deadeye is almost needed, right, for that seeker tosser to just, you know, eliminate him off the face of the earth. So there are pieces where you know, for all the strengths, I always want to try to find a counter. Right, a counter. There's always a counter in this game, and I don't feel like the Seeker Mines, especially in a game style like Last Stand, is that big of a deal. You know, and that's because of the way I play it. Like, I play to win. I don't always hang out at B and get all the kills, where, you know, you would get devastated by Seekers. But then sometimes when you have the Seeker Mine guys like chilling back at the home base, you know, that's really good defense because you can't run when you're trying to capture that base, so you just get ruined by that thing. So it serves its purpose. I think that it might be too strong, but, you know, again,
I know it might be too strong, but like, if they completely destroy the Seeker Mines, yeah, these players will feel that this game no longer belongs to them. Like, I know a lot of players. You know, one of them, Autobot, for example. Autobot is a Seeker Mine user.
Well, did they start using Seekers in 1.5, or do these players have a history of shooting their guns prior to? So it's just like,
no, same players were using Reclaimer, were using sticky bombs. They have always been explosion masters. You know what I mean? They are not the guns guy.
Sticky bombs are really hard to aim and shoot. They've always been hard to aim and get right, and now they're kind of, with the late explosion, a little more difficult. I feel like it's a matter of a great build to go to could be Firecrest, which could be like the next new thing that they're...
I agree with you 100% on this one.
but definitely start training. I would say, it's using skills and casting skills is going to be something that is and this hurts me because this is what I was made for. I was made to one-shot people with a sticky bomb, but I've had to cross-train and kind of evolve with the game. And the game was like, well, we're going to make things a little less more powerful on the skill side, and your gun's going to start mattering a little more. So, I found a gun that I could shoot. And it started with like playing with the LMGs, and I really liked those. Then to the assault rifles, which I couldn't stand before, but now I like. To the SMGs, which I haven't used since 1.2, and now I'm using them all over the place again. So I would suggest trying to find a weapon that you'd like to shoot, and shoot that weapon. And then from there, try to find a build that helps you shoot that weapon. And if you could also do skill things at the same time, which is what all these new assault healer builds have, then I think you find a nice little area, because skill builds are used to being squishy, so we know how to move, we know how to get in, we know how to get out.
Yeah.
So
why not heal and do damage with your gun? Yes.
Exactly.
So
yeah. You kind of have to move with it. The game's going to change, and you can either change or you can remain stagnant. But it is a process. It is a process. But I want to see where the game is going to be in a long-term fashion, or like a long span of time. So then we could then start saying, okay, this is what to invest in. This is what to farm for. This is, the final discussion. But hopefully, we never get there, and the game keeps evolving and keeps getting better and keeps, wanting people to come back because of how much they've missed or what's new or what's cool, what's good, what's overpowered,
Well, THEaquemeni, thank you a lot for your time today. That was the episode for today, guys. THEaquemeni, former winner of Build of the Week and the owner of the THEaquemeni gaming channel. If you want to hear more about the Assault Healer builds and his Pineapple Express build, and he has all the builds, he has very creative ideas. If you want to understand the build mathematically, this is a man for you. The links for his YouTube channel and Twitch is down in the description box. And thank you for watching, and as I always say, see ya in DZ. Bye bye.